So where your dad at?
Where your pappy at? You miss him?
bro?
You miss him? Hit him up right now. No, you say something like, actually, we have a special guest star. Bring Jensen's father out here. It's like, no.
You ever seen that Dr. Phil episode? I think when they're chasing after him? Or what show is that?
Jerry Springer.
Yeah, just that chasing you around.
Go to Kyle's office. No.
Your pops is here.
Oh, yeah.
So who came up with the name for the podcast?
Me.
And why?
To be honest, All or Nothing really is about the idea of putting everything on the table in both the physical sense, but also in ways of getting to know somebody.
I'm surprised nobody tries to fight you after the episode. Like, you
Right.
didn't really ask them.
Ask them a personalized question. And they're like, yo, bro, I'm not gonna lie. What you asked me after the episode, bro, I'm gonna have to see you outside for that. Nah, to be honest, the thing is like, it's the idea of vulnerability. Like, we were just speaking to Mason. Bro, he is and has gotten to a point where, like, he's done so much. And there's a vulnerability in that. So being able to have both aspects at the gym where you're like, oh, my physique is the best it's ever been and I'm very happy with myself, and now I feel way more comfortable opening up about like my life and what brought me here to this point. That's kind of what All or Nothing is. It's either you leave it all on the table or nothing at all. And like, yeah, I would say.
Do you feel like the podcast, are we calling it a podcast?
I would say,
It's more
yeah.
like a conversation, I feel like.
Yeah.
But would you say that it lived up to the name so far?
I think everybody in these episodes brings something to the table, whether they're a mom, a bodybuilder, a trainer, a business owner, real estate like agent. All of that brings the reason, the point, and I couldn't have chose a better season one.
So there's two stances, right? There's your part. You're gonna have your answers, and I'm gonna have mine.
Yeah,
So now you're the guest on your own.
I know.
I'm gonna call it a podcast.
I know. This is gonna
What
be
does
weird.
Jens bring to the table?
What Jens brings to the
I
table.
have my response to that, but I want to hear yours before I say mine.
Contrary to popular belief, I hate talking about myself, so this episode is going to be a little awkward for me. But what I bring to the table, I'm not gonna lie, the answer has changed so many times. Like in the beginning, when I was in school, in college, I, again, started this whole music path, right? I've always been a writer, and I started this whole music path, and I thought that what I brought to the table was just simply words, right? Like being good at words, being good at like, painting a story or painting that image. Right now, the table has changed drastically where it's like, it depends on who you ask. The answer to that question changes dramatically depending on which room I'm in. If I'm in here, what I bring to the table is, I guess, speaking about myself is so tough, but I don't know, I want to be the guy that people see and think, damn, I could have a really good discussion with this guy. I could really converse with him. He gives me that comfort in knowing that it's a judge-free zone in this room.
So this is gonna sound like one of those like type of questions, but do you think you change for the room or the room changes for you? In the sense that, because you bring a whole different person to each table, right?
Yeah.
You started off as a poet, then
Yeah.
you started making music.
Yeah.
Now you're doing videography. Well, no, then you went photography 1st. Now you have videography. And God knows where you're gonna go next.
Yeah.
And in that, you found, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you found yourself in each space in a different setting.
Yeah.
Do you think that was because the setting molded to you, or you think you made yourself fit in that setting? I don't know if that question makes sense.
No, it does.
It's a
It
loaded
does.
question, kind of.
I think it's a little bit of the second one, man. Because, all right, think about it like this. There's a lot you can do in situations where you feel socially anxious, right? You can just be in a corner, nervous, and not speak. But in my wiring and how I am as a person, it's not how it works for me. So, like, whenever I am in rooms where I feel maybe my light might be slightly dimmer than I'd want it to be, then I readjust in a way where I become like the brightest.
So just to be clear and to follow with the conversation, you say the setting changes to you.
I change towards the
You
setting.
change towards the setting.
Yeah, I would say. I think, I mean, it's tough. Damn. That is a, damn. I'm not gonna lie, you asked me a good one, man.
What's the answer, bro?
Was there- honestly, I want to say that I changed. It's in contingent of the setting. Like, depending on where I'm at, it's either a slight adjustment or I have to maneuver a little bit differently. But I always stay true to exactly who I am. The cool thing about it is that I feel like it's such a wide spectrum. Like I am really a guy of many like hats, and I'm able to feel comfortable in a lot of different rooms.
So how much of your, I guess, creativity, or how much of the things that you pursue, how much of that is influenced off of the people around you? Not just the setting, right? Like the setting is the building, but then there's the people, right? You have eyes on you, you have people that are talking in front of you, you have people that are talking behind you, and then you have the people that are talking in your head that you think they're talking about you.
Yeah.
So how much of that affects the way you're creative, the new things that you pursue, how fast you pursue it?
You know, it's so funny because, I mean, you and I have had so many conversations. It used to affect me a lot. Like I used to think that the opinions I didn't hear weighed more than the opinions I did. And the problem is that the opinions I did hear were usually constructive or really good.
Yeah.
And the opinions that I assumed I wasn't hearing was always negative. Or things that I have heard, it was always negative. And I put more value towards the negative opinions that I was unsure of existing,
Yeah.
way heavier than the ones that were essentially telling me to keep going and keep doing what I was doing.
But you know what's funny? I think that, you know what's funny? I'm going through puberty, I guess.
Yo, my boy, he just turned 25.
Just turned 25.
I was like, yo, he's growing up.
Embarrassing. But the crazy part about that is I think that people identify that. Like the negative is what's affecting me the most.
Yeah.
And then they think, I just got to get rid of it completely.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's completely not true. Because
No.
I think as a competitor,
You need it.
you need it.
Yeah, you definitely need it.
And I think that that's something that, I think it's a guy trait.
Yeah,
It's a human trait to compete, but
to compete.
naturally, we're always going to be in a competitive state. So we need that negative energy to push us. Now, you can't let it control us, but you gotta push us.
To be honest,
You feel like you're channeling that now?
yeah, I realize when I know a certain thing, and I know confidently, like the back of my mind, what I'm capable of doing in that certain thing, whether it's writing, grammar mistakes, like music, and now cinematography, and just studying that. When I put in the work and I get into certain like knowledge in my mind, I do get competitive.
We're leaving that topic. We're going somewhere else because you kind of opened up a
Another
door.
thing?
Yeah.
I'm jumping in.
Because you do a lot of different things. Start again, poem, then music, then
Yeah.
pictures, then video. The video aspect, you came in and you started doing it so randomly. You were really good at it.
Thank
and
you.
You make the cinematography, like, you don't just record. Like me, for example, some people might know me for doing video and stuff. but
Yeah, we started this video fucking raw as hell. He didn't even introduce my man. Here's my boy, Ariel. Hybrid athlete, high rocks athlete, runner, AZ Arizonian. Moved out of Lawrence and essentially chased passion and took risks. And
That was I actually do want to speak on that, but we'll get into that later.
yeah, we'll get back to that. But we gotta.
Get into that later.
This is my boy.
But,
Just in case y'all don't know that.
but the crazy part is like a lot of people, like myself, I would say I'm pretty good at what I do, but I'm just pressing record. You are making like moments, memories in time. Like when I look at your videos, I think, damn, I feel like I'm reminiscing on something. Or I feel like I'm connecting to something deeper.
Yeah.
So where did this whole like videography passion come from? Like where did it? Because you can just tell when you see an artist's art, you know it came from something deeper than I just want to do art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think like for me, the earliest memory of wanting to create and keep, like a keepsafe of memories is it was 2013. I went to New York, and I don't have a relationship with my father, but we knew he was in New York. So my mom reluctantly was like, all right, cool, we'll have him pull up and see us and stuff. And we ended up going, and I went to his apartment, and he showed me a collective of videos that existed from me. And I'm watching myself when I was 1, 2, 3. Like these memories I just obviously did not remember. And it exists, and I'm there.
Did you know it existed?
No, that was the first time. He went into the closet, took out baby teeth, scrapbooks of another part of another photo album I've never seen, and then took out these videos. And I guess he took the videos and he gave like one album to my mom. And he's showing me these videos.
To keep.
Yeah, like when they split the memories as well. And he had the videos, and I'm like, yo, why? Give it back, you know? And I was like, yo, let me get these videos back. And he kind of essentially said like, if I sent him the album that I had of my childhood photos, then I would get those videos back, or I would just get those videos. And even at that age, I knew, I'm like, he's lying. You know, like if I sent him those photos, now I take that risk of never having any. So it was kind of in that moment of having my hands tied and being like, damn, like this man really has memories, and he's gatekeeping memories that are mine. And yeah, like growing up, I've always started recording and keeping videos because I like the idea of seeing a moment in time as if it's a movie. So I've been recording since high school, just random videos, and now, fast forward now, I want to be able, you know, to have my kid ask me a question of a date and time. Like we ask all of our parents of how, like, well, you know, who were you? Was my dad cool? And just show a video of your dad hiking up a volcano in Costa Rica. You know, or being with his boys and just being dumb and being able to be like, yeah, like that was a moment in time where I learned this, that, and the third. And yeah, like that man took that away from me, and I hated that. And yeah, that ain't gonna happen again.
Have you? So one thing that they don't know about me, but you know about me, is I'm super big on perspective. Like I see the positive in things that are only negative.
Yeah, I know.
And I see.
I know.
But it's because what good does the negative do for us? You know what I mean? And I get it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to be a little bit, almost like delusional in a sense, in order to still remain at peace, right? In order to still find peace in these things. So I say all that to say, like, when it came to that situation specifically, that's obviously not an easy thing to process.
Yeah.
And it's easier to just not like somebody and be like, yo, you did this with like ill intent.
Yeah.
And I'll never forgive you for that. But then there's also the other side, because there's always two sides to the coin, whether we want to like accept that or not. There's a reason why you don't want to let go.
Yeah.
And maybe there's some part of that like you need healing the same way I need healing. And maybe the fact that you don't have me in your life.
Yeah.
This is the only way that you can have me in life, and you don't know how to bring me back in.
Yeah.
Have you given that some thought and found
Yeah.
peace in that, or would you say you just found peace in letting the whole thing go completely?
For me, I made peace with it, because at the end of the day, again, I've lived with this idea for over 10 years of like, why do you need them? But then you grow and you realize there's a lot of things I saved from my past relationships that I just won't give back, or that I like. And it's not because I'm trying to keep it from you. It's more of what it means to me to have it. And obviously I don't have children of my own, but I can only imagine what that feels like for children that you knew you failed on, you know? So with that, I was like,
That's
okay.
hard.
Yeah.
That's super hard.
And in my mind, I'm like, yo, like, to be honest, it's not a matter of if I'm gonna get them, because I will. knock on wood, I'm gonna be here a little longer.
And what if you don't? And what if you don't?
The great thing is that I already started my own journey with that,
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
And at the end of the day, I can't say that the memories I do remember as a kid were horrible. I'm not trying to replace them.
Yeah.
That's just behind the scenes. Those are extra shots, you know, like, and I guess being the guy behind the camera myself built that perspective for me of like, you know, sometimes you just don't get the shot, you know? If from there's videos of the day I was born, the day, in like April 24 in '97. Like I saw my mom getting carded.
How old are you right now?
How old am I? Whoa! I'm just kidding. 28. I'm an unk. Nah, but
Not officially.
But I saw that video of my mom getting carted to the hospital room. Like I wasn't even, it didn't even exist yet.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like it took a while to really let go of that. Like, oh, you know what? Whatever, fine. But I let go of it. And you know what? It's a matter of, I'm gonna get it.
You know what's interesting about that?
I'm
though?
gonna get it.
When you create those gaps in time, or like you don't have documentation of it, all that's left is my favorite thing: perspective
Yeah.
and perception, right?
Yeah.
And kind of leaving that conversation but entering another one is there's a huge gap in video for you
Yeah.
because you just started doing video,
Yeah.
but there's a whole lot that happened before that because you started doing video also when you dropped weight,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
became a
yeah.
whole new person mentally. Like there's a lot of things that weren't spoken about on camera, like that me and you know obviously because of our relationship.
Yeah.
But if you can speak to everybody who didn't see the gap,
Who weren't privy.
yeah. Like, what do you think the biggest misconception of gens is? You know what I mean? For everybody who just saw you come out the woodworks,
Yeah.
or maybe the people that saw you before the camera was rolling
Yeah.
and only knew that side, and tuned out before the camera started rolling.
I think people assume that I think my shit don't stink. I think a lot of, and I get it, I think a lot of it is personality. I think it's the way, you know, people mistake confidence with arrogance.
I think it's also how we deliver it.
Yeah, it's the way we deliver it. I am a naturally loud person, and I'm very unapologetically loud. You know, I'm like, yeah, I am, and yeah, I think the biggest part is the idea that I think I am him,
Yeah.
and
Well, do you? Do you think you're him?
like I said, in certain pockets, yeah, but that's because I studied. You know,
Yeah.
I studied the books. I started with 0 streams in music.
You know what's interesting about that too, though, is a lot of people will dislike you because you think you're him.
Yeah.
But I think having the confidence and thinking that you're him doesn't mean that somebody else can't be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
You can be him too. Everybody should be that person to themselves. Everybody should think like I am. the
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
in whatever it is that I'm doing. Because if not, don't do it.
Yeah.
And once we come together and we, like, for example, in the gym, if me and you are going to do something together, like I think I'm that.
Yeah.
You know, you think you're that. And when we come together, now we compete.
Yeah.
And I think that's what life is. It's
Yeah.
about competing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's the biggest part. Like what people missed in those moments is the fact that people only listen or people only want to listen to somebody that they know produce results, right? I can't speak about music stuff without firstly saying, hey, this is where I was at. This is my streams, right? The reason why these gym videos are so apparent now is because it's not because I wasn't making gym videos before, but because now you know I've leaned out, so he must know something, and that's the biggest thing. So a lot of the times in the perspective of like where people put me in, and I guess the struggle that I have with like, you can't convince the world that you know you have your own insecurities and you have your own flaws and faults that make you a human being. Like I don't think I'm a robot and I don't think I'm amazing, but if you have that perspective of me, you may not think that I'm him, but you must have an idea that I've done something to hold the ground that I lay in, you know? Because I never come out of anywhere in any place and just tell everybody that I'm better than you. You know, I just come out and say, I know what I'm doing here.
Yeah. I am the best version of me. I'm not better than you.
It
Nobody's
is me
better than
versus me, yeah.
And I think that's a good mentality to have.
Yeah, I will say, I almost never really think of the other people in the field. You know, like I'm with cinematography, right? I just don't think about the other people. If I'm in a room and there's other like cameramen or people with cameras, I'm not watching you and basing my work off of you.
Yeah.
Most of the times, annoyingly, I probably didn't even realize, and I'm like, damn, I didn't say what's up. I didn't say anything. I'm just kind of like,
I think that's why you find so much peace in the art that you create.
yeah,
And
it's people.
I think the reason you find so much peace in the art that you create is because they say comparison is the thief of joy. And you don't compare yourself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And like that's the biggest problem. Like the biggest problem for me is the only people that I find myself comparing myself to truly is the people that have inspired me to step into this world anyway.
Yeah.
Like, and they're always people that they're not in front of me. You know what I mean? They're always people that are doing something in a way that will take a lot of time to learn. My inspirations come from people that I feel like, okay, this didn't come easy for them.
Yeah.
And so therefore, like I'll set that line of like, all right, I'm trying to get from here to there. And I will get there,
Yeah.
but it's a matter of like once we get there, there's already a new person in mind before we even arrive to that point.
So the things that you do, would you say you do it for yourself in the future, for your kids, for the people around you? Or you don't know why you do it, you just know you enjoy it in the moment, so you're just gonna do it?
I think I do it to keep I think it's all logs. It's all journal entries, it's all logs, it's all memories. It's everything that will allow me to look back and think, wow, that was dope. In terms of like the videos, if I don't know if people realize it, but there's a lot of writing in it too.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of my writing that I felt like was getting lost throughout these last couple of years because I was more focused on music and then photography, and I was neglecting what I feel like is my truest passion, which is just writing in general, like just getting my thoughts out.
You know, it's another passion that you have. I think a lot of people don't know unless they're like cool with you. And I need to know why this is. You are very, when you are friends with somebody,
Yeah.
you're super passionate about that.
Yeah.
To the point where I've told you before, and I'll be honest,
I care way too much.
you care a lot. Damn, this dude's high maintenance.
Yeah.
But I get it though, because you treat people as if they're high maintenance too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where does that come from? Where's that rooted in? The passion for, I guess, showing up for people, because that's it. But also having people show up for you.
Yo, you know what it is? You know what it is, for real?
I'm high maintenance a little bit. What's that Drake song?
I'm high maintenance a little bit. Like, you expensive. Yo, you call me expensive? Nah, bro, you want to know what it is? I don't have an extensive family, right? My boys are my family. I want all of us to make it. There's a podcast with J. Cole, and in there he's talking about how he was speaking to Jay-Z when he was about to get signed, or he got signed, and he was just basically worried about his boys. And he's like, yo, I really want them to show up. And Jay-Z told him, bro, one day you're gonna have to realize that not everybody can come. And for me, I took that as like, okay, fine. I may not be able to grab all of them and drag them in there. But as long as I can personally say that I keep them all in check through the standards that they uphold themselves, then at least when I look back and I'm there, everyone else is, because we all just kept it the same consistency. And I think that that's the biggest problem for me, that I'm like, I do care a lot. You know what I mean? I care the most. But I also come from a perspective in my life where nobody did at all. You know? Like I grew up with just a mom and a sister, and an older sister at that, who had her own circle of friends. And like, realistically, I was just the creative, quiet kid in a little corner writing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have. I had to build this love with my boys,
Yeah.
and I am the. I do the upkeep, and I maintain that value, and it does not decrease.
And do you know when to give up though?
That's something that I'm dealing with now. Learning how to let go. Maybe not giving up, but let go. And the idea of like, I can't put this much pressure on somebody
Who doesn't want to save themselves?
who doesn't want to save
Like
themselves.
the airplane.
Exactly.
What is it? Put your thing on. Yeah.
You gotta put the ventilation yourself before you put it on somebody else. And that's the biggest problem, bro. The biggest problem is that ultimately you have to want to do it yourself, and coming to terms with the fact that some people just don't have that perspective of wanting to do it themselves.
Yeah.
It's something I have to make peace with, and I've lost a lot of boys for that.
You know, you've heard the saying that like life is like an elevator going to the penthouse. Everybody's gonna get off on their own floor, and then only a select few will enter the penthouse with you.
No, but I like that.
That's it. That's what's happening right now.
Penthouse, baby.
Penthouse, baby.
Well, first off, we had to relocate because Kyle's amazing cleaning crew is cleaning, and this is their world. We're just living in it. They had to. There's a lot of upkeep in this gym, and I think that's exactly what we were talking about, the upkeeping in terms of friends. That was actually a smooth segue.
That was it.
Smooth segue. I didn't even do that on purpose.
Yeah, he's an artist.
No bull.
But I think that there's the hard part is like because we ended on that reference of the penthouse. Like,
Yeah, I like that
You're
reference.
on the first floor on the way to the penthouse, and everybody's gonna get off on their own floor, and that's okay. You have to make peace with that. But I think the hard part is when the elevator is empty.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is you are becoming the person that you want to be, but you're not quite there yet. So you don't
Yeah.
have friends that fit that mold.
Yeah,
But you also outgrew your old friends.
yeah.
Um,
You know what it is if we're keeping the same analogy of the penthouse? If I'm in that elevator alone, every once in a while the door opens and shows me that life, and it's getting harder and harder to not say, damn, maybe the 10th floor is nice enough.
yeah.
And that's what's been going on a lot lately. Dude, doors are opening and opportunities are flying through, and I'm meeting a lot of cool people, but you always have to assume that with every 5 cool person, there's at least one person there that has ill intent. And I always have that perspective.
You know, this is where I agree with your perspective, but this is where our perspectives go different because, you know, I'm very, like, I'm Christian. I'm a Christian. I'm a very, 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 I would say I'm super Christian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not by, like, the religion, denominational stuff. I just believe in Jesus. And that's where I lean on discernment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a tough one to navigate. It's like, I've gotten to a point where I'm like, yo, honestly, if I don't know if this person or if this thing is good for me, I'm gonna just pray about it and then let God send me the signs.
Yeah.
And then you have to, you know.
But again, like, even with that, right, the idea that when the door opens and you look at what your life currently is and the question of would you like to stay here, just mentally deciding to just close that elevator door and still move up.
Yeah.
And it becomes a little harder because I think the higher you go, the more you realize that you don't even know where the penthouse is.
Yeah.
Like your apartment could feel like a mansion to you mentally. And I think that's kind of where I'm at now, where it's like, okay, well, what is the goal here? Is the goal here to be in the penthouse, or is the goal to feel like it's always been a penthouse? And being able to like enjoy life as if I've always lived in a penthouse.
And that's the beauty of detachment, bro.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've learned is like not wanting the thing
Yeah.
is just as fulfilling as achieving the thing.
You ever seen those like when people have PlayStation or Nintendo 64s when the game wasn't like loading, they have to pretend to not really want to play for it to work. They're like, oh, whatever, I don't care. If you want to work, you can work. That's how life is.
Yeah.
The minute that you stop thinking about how it's going to be when you get there is the minute you realize you're closer there than you think. And that is right now where I'm at, where I can't think about the videos and how they're doing number wise. Like I don't think about it too much. I try not to. It's hard because it's social media and we're always thinking about numbers and how to do better and what people actually like. And there is a certain part of that. There is a certain part of, are you giving the people what they want? But the other part is, are you still holding on to the integrity of what is your stuff? And that's exactly why I don't do videos for people.
So there's a quote, and I want you to tell me what you believe, like how much of this quote you think is true. Mm-hmm. And that quote is, I'm not who I say I am who you say I am. So does that make sense? So a lot of us, we don't live up to be the person that we want to be. Mm-hmm. And obviously with time, maturity, and development, this changes, but we don't live up to a person, or we don't live out the life of the person that we want to be, because we get so caught up in living out the life
that other people want us to be.
Of how people perceive us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We fall victim to people's perception of us, and then we end up living that out instead of the person that we actually wanted to be.
Yeah. Personally, I think I'm exactly who I want to be.
Yeah.
I don't ever like people's take on me. I don't think I've ever once heard somebody's take on me that didn't know me. Somebody that my brothers are different, but from someone who, you know, looking at it from the scope that I created.
Yeah.
Like, actually, even then, let me take that back. Whatever you say about me is based off of the scope I created. Your perception of the scope that I created is just your perception. It's your opinion. But what I post and how I post it and how I, the theatrics of how I display my life is exactly the way I needed it to be. And if that leaves you thinking positive or negative, like that is your perspective and much appreciated. But at the end of the day, it's my engine, you know? And I would be a fool to think that the intent was to have everybody understand one linear thought of who is Chance. Like I also understand, some people are gonna find this corny. Some people are gonna think I'm out here reaching for attention. Some people are probably gonna feel motivated by it.
Yep.
That's exactly what I wanted.
And you know what it is too? And I say this, I guess speaking to a past version of myself, but also speaking to anybody who might find themselves in this position. People's perception of you has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
So you have to let it go. Like, bro, the way people perceive you, what people think about you, what people think about the things that you do, has nothing to do with you. There's so many people who don't do the things that they want to do.
Yeah.
Or don't pursue something just because of the simple fact that they're thinking about, damn, they're going to think this is corny. Or what if nobody likes it? Or what if nobody tunes in? Or what if it never even mattered? I
used to really want to please everybody. Like, that was something for me personally that I'm like, that was something I had to kind of understand that I can't.
Yeah.
Wanting to please everybody. And I think the reason why it stopped, like I stopped thinking about wanting everyone to just fuck with me, was when I realized the minute I covered one hole, another one blew up. And I had to and at the end of the day, I was just stressing myself over perspective. Yeah. And I'm out here stressed over people's perspective. And you know what? Again, like I said in the beginning, most perspectives are from people I don't even know exist. Aren't in my realm, in my circle, in my bubble, dude, I post a video and obviously they're getting a lot of traction. I'll get one comment from a random person being like,
you'll be stressed about, not stressed about it,
but I want to defend myself, you know? Like someone, I don't know if I told you this, in DR I posted a poem or a journal
The one
entry.
that you plagiarized?
Yeah, bro, a journal entry about my grandma and my connection with my grandma and being in DR. Someone's like, this is plagiarized. Like, you plagiarized this. I'm like, please show me where this exists. Because I just wrote it before I edited the video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I'm here and I'm on the phone with you. Yeah, I'm on the phone with you. And I'm like, yo, are you kidding me? And bro, and it doesn't matter.
You know what's crazy about that? Again, this is more so like my faith-based side of things is when you're doing something good that I feel is fulfilling God's calling in your life,
Yeah,
the devil's gonna throw stuff at you.
yeah,
You know what I mean? He's gonna throw things to throw you off your game.
Yeah.
Because now you respond to that, and that is the real corny thing to do. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And doing that real corny thing is what's gonna throw you off your game. It might affect the next video, the next
Yeah.
poem.
And another thing too is the minute that you let it be known that it affects you
Yep.
is the minute somebody knows. You never want to let another person know how to get under your skin,
For sure.
especially in the world of social media and content creating.
Yeah.
Like, you don't. The minute they know that it affects you is the minute they spot a weakness and you're no longer the person they perceive.
You are as strong as the things you let affect you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, and I would say like, you put all of those things in a funnel, like my relationships with my friends, the detail of what it actually takes to create these videos and what my angle is and how I want to create them, and the perception of the people outside. Like I think it shapes kind of like how I move now, like a lot, especially because I'm a lot more external than I used to be. I used to be kind of like, make a song, drop it and go, and not really be actively on social media. Now I'm actively on there, and
Yeah.
keeping it consistent has been scary and tough, but it's also been rewarding as well. And that's why I haven't stopped, because I go to a gym here and everyone sees me, and the people who have spoken to me or said what's up, they acknowledge me as, oh, the guy who does all or nothing, and he has great questions, or he's a conversationalist, and then I tap into cool conversations with people. Yeah, there may be some perspectives that don't align with mine and my vision, but at the end of the day, it's gonna happen. But there's the things that I do here are enough to keep going.
The dope part about like all of the conversations you've had, all of the documenting you've done, whether it's through pictures, music, poems, videos, is if somebody decides, you know what, I do want to give Jay a shot as a person, they can go back and see that, right? Would
Yeah.
you say?
Yeah,
They
like
could-
through just things I've created.
Yeah, like they could learn.
Me.
Yeah, they learn who Jay. Like you have a song, a project called Gens.
Yeah, yeah.
That talks about you.
Everything, yeah.
You have poems that talk about you. You have videos that show who Gens is.
Yeah.
So it's not hard to actually get to know you if somebody wants to.
Yeah.
In the sense that they could just look at your art.
They could just
and
tap
see,
in,
'cause
yeah.
I think you're like the mascots of your art.
Yeah. It's
know?
all public
Truly.
domain, like.
But now, here's the question: is that's there for the person who wants to seek it? Now, let's say that person is watching this video, and we erased everything. All your poems gone. All your videos gone. Every picture you've ever taken gone. Videos, music, everything. All your art is completely gone, and now you only have this one moment to tell the world, show the world, this is Jay, and this is what I wanted to give to the world before I left.
Right now.
Right now.
Dang.
Everything is gone. You only have one moment, one sentence, if you would, to tell the world, this is who I am, and this is all I ever wanted to give to the world in my time here.
I hope people see me, and whether it's from a distance or looking straight, like making straight up eye contact, and know that there's layers. And I think that that's what I see when I see people. I think how I perceive you is how I want to be perceived, right? When I speak to anybody, it's understanding that there's thousands of layers of people and person and personality and a horrible skinny jean phase in high school. Like, you have so much value in you, and everybody thinks that we're all living the same life, and we don't, and we're not, you know? I would say if you were to see me right now and you wouldn't know me from a hole in a wall, at least acknowledge that we're not all the same hole. You know, like we're all different. We all bring something different to the table, and when you see me, I hope you see layers. When you see me with a camera, I hope you don't see as egotistical, but I hope you see me as a storyteller. At the end of the day, I just write my life as a story, whether it's sonically, visually, or just written, and it's as it is. And even if these things cease to exist and there's no history of it ever being, like nobody could find it, like at the end of the day, it's tatted on me. You know, I have all of my pieces tatted on me. I have all of my art kind of surround me. You can't see me and not think of me as the person that I've worked so hard to be. And I hope that that's what they see. I hope they see, I hope I leave this world as an artist. And yeah, I don't know if I answered that. I'm gonna think about this question all day.
As you should.
And I'm gonna be like, damn, did I really answer that? I should have said this. That would have been dope.
So, that was supposed to be my closing question, but I can't just close there. I want to close on because there's so much development that has happened in your life.
I know, we didn't even speak about the fitness, the everything.
And you know why? Because we could have gone down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's seen that already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we can go down, well, yeah, what'd you eat? But that's not the important questions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that the mentality is what got you there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you were sharing with the world.
Yeah.
But there's also, throughout your journey, there was a lot of things you've learned.
Yeah.
A lot of things you've learned. And there's a lot of people who are in phase 1 of your journey, where you started, you know what I mean? What is the best piece of advice? This is the most, like, the corniest, this is definitely the corniest podcast question. But what's that piece of advice that you would share with somebody to just get them to move in a direction, whether it's pursuing art, whether it's pursuing their fitness journey, whether it's pursuing the independence of not giving a fuck about not caring what people think?
Yeah. If focusing on you makes it so you lose a lot of people, they weren't supposed to be there in the first place.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
But yeah.
That's it.
Season 1, wrap up. We did it. Again, weird to end it on me, but I do want to thank everybody that tapped in, that's done everything that they needed to do for season 1. A lot of cool people. I was forced to do this interview by a lot of people. I'm not really good at talking to myself, but I think I'm going to end it in a why I do this, and it's really for this. It's really to understand somebody. There's a lot of people who are walking in this gym who may seem just a normal person, or may seem like they don't do much, or maybe you think that about yourself and it's not true. You bring a lot to the table. You do a lot of cool things. You leave it all or nothing. And that's why I do it. So thank you for season 1, and thank you for everybody that tapped in. Season 2 is coming in like 2 months, maybe. It's time to work on an album, and that's why I'm kind of checking out from creating these episodes. But thank you for showing love. And Ariel.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being the interviewee.
I flew all the way from Arizona for this, bro.
I know, bro. I know.
Worth it.
Oh, shit. Oh, man.